explained why the Israel-Iran conflict just escalated and what role the US is playing. Israel's June 13 airstrikes on Iranian soil have sharply escalated the long-running confrontation between the two arch-rivals. Codenamed Operation Rising Lion, the operation involved dozens of Israeli fighter jets targeting Iran's nuclear infrastructure, missile factories, and top military personnel. Explosions were reported in Tehran and at the Natanz uranium enrichment facility. We are at a decisive moment in Israel's history, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a recorded video message. Prime Minister Netanyahu moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. Pic.twitter.com 3C8 of 1GC. A Prime Minister of Israel Israeli PM June 13, 2025. Meanwhile, Israel's Defense Minister, Israel Katz, announced a special situation as some military officials there confirmed attacks on Iranian nuclear sites. According to Israel's Channel 12, Iran's Armed Forces Chief of Staff Mohammad Bagheri and several senior nuclear scientists may have been killed, though Iran has not officially confirmed the casualties. The strike followed months of rising tensions. Israeli officials cited intelligence that Iran had amassed enough enriched uranium to produce multiple nuclear weapons. A senior Israeli military official told Reuters that Iran could make up to 15 bombs within days. Israeli leadership framed the operation as a necessary step to counter an existential threat amid stalled diplomacy. Iran, for its part, has denied pursuing nuclear weapons and accused Israel of aggression and sabotage. It has built deep regional networks through proxies such as Hezbollah and Hamas groups Israel considers direct threats to its security. The immediate context includes not just military buildup but also failed diplomacy. US-Iran nuclear talks, scheduled for June 15 in Oman, were hanging by a thread before the airstrikes. It is now unclear whether they will go forward. Although a staunch Israeli ally, the United States has officially distanced itself from Operation Rising Lion. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated that Israel acted unilaterally, saying tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel, he added. Just a day before the Israeli strike, U.S. President Donald Trump had said an Israeli strike on Iran could very well happen but reiterated his hopes for a peaceful resolution. The U.S. withdrew non-essential personnel from its missions in Iraq, Jordan, and several Gulf countries. The State Department issued updated travel advisories, and military assets were repositioned across the region in anticipation of possible fallout. However, Washington's role goes beyond military posture. While publicly disavowing military involvement, the U.S. remains deeply invested in preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons and in managing the broader fallout from Israeli actions. Its long-standing diplomatic support for Israel, layered sanctions on Iran, and simultaneous pursuit of back-channel diplomacy highlight Washington's complex and often contradictory position in the conflict. In short, the U.S. is not a neutral bystander, it is a strategic actor balancing alliance, deterrence, and diplomacy. The Israel-Iran conflict is a decades-long power struggle rooted in ideology, security threats, and competing visions for the Middle East. Israel sees Iran as its most dangerous enemy, primarily due to Tehran's pursuit of nuclear capabilities, its calls for Israel's destruction, and its sustained support for armed groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel believes that a nuclear-armed Iran would permanently alter the strategic balance in the region and pose an existential threat to the Jewish state. Iran, on the other hand, positions itself as a leader of the anti-Israel resistance and frequently uses its state media and proxy forces to denounce Israel's legitimacy. It funds and arms militias across Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Gaza that frequently launch attacks on Israeli territory. Until recently, both countries operated through proxies, cyber attacks, and covert strikes. But the shift to open, direct attacks, including Iran's unprecedented missile strike on Israel in April and Israel's latest bombing of Iranian soil, marks a dangerous new phase on state warfare, with fewer restraints and higher stakes. On October 7, 2023, Hamas, backed by Iran, launched a deadly attack in southern Israel, killing over 1,100 people. Israel began a major military campaign in Gaza. October 17, 2023. Iran's supreme leader warned of broader regional conflict if Israel continued its campaign. Hezbollah opened a second front in northern Israel. Dis 2023 March 2024 Israel escalated strikes on IRGC operatives in Syria, killing several senior commanders. April 1, 2024 Israel bombed Iran's consulate annex in Damascus, killing Brigadier General Mohammad Reza Zahidi. Iran vowed revenge. April 1314, 2024 Iran launched its first ever direct attack on Israel, firing 300 drones and missiles. Nearly all were intercepted. April 19, 2024 Israel responded by bombing a radar site near Isfahan. July 31, 2024 Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran. September 2024 Israel killed senior Hezbollah leaders, including Hassan Nasrallah, and IRGC Deputy Commander Abbas Nilforishan in Beirut. Oct 1, 2024 Iran fired 200 ballistic missiles at Israel. Oct 26, 2024 Israel launched Days of Repentance, striking 20 Iranian-linked sites. Janmar 2025 fighting intensified across multiple proxy fronts: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and militias in Syria, Iraq. APR June 2025 Israel accused Iran of crossing the nuclear threshold. The IAEA reported declining transparency. June 13, 2025 Israel launched Operation Rising Lion. Key nuclear and military targets hit. Iran may have lost top officials. The world watches to see what comes next. Nanan swipe left for next video. All eyes are on Iran. Retaliation is expected, whether through direct missile strikes, proxy attacks, or cyber retaliation. The risk of wider regional war is at its highest in decades. This is no longer a shadow conflict. With both nations striking at each other's core assets and threatening escalation, the Middle East stands on the edge of a multi-front war. Whether diplomacy can still avert catastrophe remains to be seen. Latest blogs.